Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam, and today I'd like to celebrate a movie that is going to be celebrating its 5-year anniversary this coming December. Damien Chazelle's La La Land. And by the way, can we just appreciate this steelbook? This was actually a Best Buy exclusive. I pre-ordered this, and it is just a work of art. But this movie was directed by Damien Chazelle, who directed my favorite movie of the 2010s, Whiplash, and First Man. It starred Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, and for a while, it was one of the hottest movies going. People were talking about it, just everywhere. You couldn't escape it. And then, literally, as soon as the Oscars came, La La Land just went away, like Aang at the beginning of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I've always thought about La La Land in the 5 years since I've seen it, or 4 years since it's coming up on its 5-year anniversary. I saw this movie in December of 2016, and it's one of my fondest theater-going memories of the last decade. It was a packed house. I remember just being surprised at how many people were there. I saw some high school friends who I did not expect to see there, and we all loved the movie. And it was among my favorites of the year. I was just raving about this movie from the moment I saw it. However, I feel like nowadays, the only reason people even have a passing remembrance of La La Land is because, Bonnie and Clyde had a senior moment and almost declared it Best Picture at the Academy Awards when it was Moonlight. And so, because it is the 5-year anniversary coming up, I decided to rewatch it for the first time in a very long time. And yeah, this movie's still awesome. But from the reviews I read/watched in preparation for this review, I thought to myself, there's a small pocket of people who I don't think really like this movie that much. There's a lot of people that love it, that think that it's just okay. And then there's a small but vocal minority who think this movie is not very good. And so, just to kind of give a bit of a beta test, or just to test the field, however you want to call it, I turned to my social media, my Facebook page and my Twitter account. And the replies were mostly positive. Jacob Martin, who has a very underrated YouTube channel, said in his reply, "The best musical of the 2010s, incredible songs and a beautiful love letter and celebration of the genre as a whole." And just in general, there was just a feeling of I liked it or I loved it. But then there were a couple of comments that were not so positive. I took this matter to a Facebook group that I'm a part of called Film Freaks, and one of the comments I got, it's very long, but I will read the whole thing to respect the commenter. "As a fan of the Freed Unit musicals it's trying to emulate, I have a lot of issues with it. To me, the MGM Golden Age musicals, the RKO, Rogers/Astaire musicals, they're all expressionistic depictions of love and romance. This kind of romance makes you feel like you're the best singer, the best dancer, the most fabulous lover in the world's most romantic, beautiful locations. La La Land employing mediocre singers and dancers and setting them against a muddy LA backdrop really feels like an intentional rejection of the stuff their film is stated to be a love letter to, and honestly, I find that really disappointing. The argument of La La Land doesn't feel like a love letter to these movies they're cribbing from, but a cheap refutation of them. Wasn't that Gene Kelly a total dope for believing in happily ever afters? Wouldn't these movies be better if they were about grounded, gritty reality? Feels like a weak premise for a movie musical, so this one has always left me cold." I think that entire comment sums up a majority of the problems that I've been able to find with La La Land, or at least from other people. In that, because La La Land is grounded in reality, this movie takes place in about mid-2010s Los Angeles, and because of this, then the movie is lesser. I don't want to twist anyone's words around, but that was my interpretation of that comment. But I think the whole realism aspect of it is more of an advantage to La La Land than a disadvantage. In my research, I found that Damien Chazelle is a massive fan of musicals, and he's also a massive fan of movies that celebrate cities. He mentions Man with a Movie Camera in an interview. And his rationale for wanting to make this movie was to take a Golden Age musical, but set it in real life, in the world of, hey, not everything always works out. I'm a fan of the Freed Unit musicals as well, Wizard of Oz being chief among them. However, the reality aspect, I feel, actually lends a third degree to this movie that I think just adds a lot of depth and overall nuance. Again, that's just me. I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but first I want to talk about the songs, because the songs in this movie are fantastic, even to this day. After this movie came out, I listened to this score an unhealthy amount of times. Specifically, both versions of City of Stars, the first one where Ryan Gosling is just singing it himself, and when Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling are singing it together, and they have the improv moments in between. I love that particular song. And I guess it's a good place to parlay into the chemistry between Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling, because I think it's really good. They start out as not necessarily enemies, but as adversaries to each other. They tell each other their dreams, and they're like, oh really, yeah, tell me how that's going. But as they get to know each other more, the more they try and support each other. It's nice, I liked it. This particular section of this video will be a spoiler, so skip to this time code if you want to go past this, but I didn't want to bring up this point without talking about spoilers. But one of my other social media comments from Rachel, my podcast co-host and just overall swell person, over at Rachel's Reviews, said in my tweet, I enjoyed it but wanted them to fight harder for their relationship. Felt they gave up too quickly. I understand where she's coming from here, but I think that them breaking up was the right decision. I'll explain. Basically, Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, they don't live happily ever after together. Emma Stone becomes a very famous actor, while Ryan Gosling opens up his own jazz club, but they're very much separated. They see each other one more time when it's just like a chance encounter, but that's just about it. I think if they just rode off into the sunset with each other, I think would have just been a cop-out ending. And if Damien Chazelle is known for anything, it's like him not doing cop-out endings. This has a very reality-based, reality to it. And I think Damien Chazelle was trying to communicate that, hey, not everyone falls in love with each other. They may fall each other in time, but it may be just one particular instance while they go on their separate ways. So I respect the sentiment, but I do respectfully disagree. Slightly. But the theme of this movie as a whole is the battle between dreams versus reality. And because of this, you see Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling struggle for everything. You see Emma Stone be basically rejected from an audition because of a run-in from a phone call on the part of the casting agent. Ryan Gosling gets this job playing Christmas carols at a very upscale restaurant, and when he plays just 5 seconds of jazz, J.K. Simmons fires him. Maybe he didn't have his photos of Spider-Man, who knows. So you do see them struggle, but then when they find some success, it's not the success that they're really looking for. Ryan Gosling gets into this jazz band, but with a jazz and a pop fusion to it. It's led by John Legend, and basically to make a long story short, Ryan Gosling doesn't stay in the band for that long, and good on him for that. Next thing you know, you'll be making a PC version of Baby It's Cold Outside. It's the battle of being successful and being true to yourself. And I think it's handled very well. It's a theme that's touched on liberally in Whiplash, and it goes double for La La Land as well. And at the end of the day, does La La Land still hold up? In my opinion, it absolutely does. I like the singing, I like the dancing, I like the story as a whole, the themes are handled very well, the acting is solid across the board, and I think over time this movie will get an even better reputation. So if you haven't seen it, do hunt it down, do check it out, and let's raise a glass to the fools who dream. But that is all for me, guys. Thank you so much as always for watching, and thank you to all of you who contributed on my social media posts for this video. I tried to include everyone, and if I missed anyone, I do humbly apologize. This coming week on the channel, I'll be dropping 3 AFI Project videos for In the Heat of the Night, Forrest Gump, and All the President's Men. Saturday, May 1st will be another installment of the Movie Nerds Club, where myself and our fellow movie nerds will be ranking our top 5 Best Picture winners. And then next Sunday, May 2nd, I'll be doing my first reaction to the Studio Ghibli film, Whisper of the Heart. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way, when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.